Guys, it's Sarah with Grassroots Evolution Tarot. I'm here to bring you a message I feel very, very strongly called to do today. I'm just going to take a moment to call in spirit, ask Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, my team of light, any of my spirit guides or your spirit guides that would be here for the highest good for the entire collective. I ask them to join us now to guide, guard, bless, and protect this reading, myself, and any of you who would ask for it, as well as to use me as the clearest channel possible, but delivering messages that are only for the highest good of all of us. I do want to give you a trigger warning for anyone. I have been picking up a lot about the ICE agent shooting that woman in Minnesota, and just the general sense of unease about that. And you know, there's a lot, but I've been picking that up a lot too, and I'm not sure if any of you guys have been watching that or seen that, but it's something that I just felt really, really called to bring a message, but it's also in the back of my mind, there's these horrific things. And I saw something earlier that basically said if you agree with state violence, then you are already complicit in basically the moral degradation that you feared, right? And before I get into cards even, like, been reading a lot about, you know, Nazi Germany and the coming of Nazi Germany, and it feels a lot like, to me here, this was done putting people in a pretty dire economic situation and then vilifying an entire group of people and bringing, like, what I hear is like the stormtroopers, right? Hitler's stormtroopers, but in this case it's like before they were like the SS, before, you know, they were that. And I apologize again if this is a trigger warning. If it's not for you, turn it off. But I feel like this is my platform and this is the voice that I have. And sorry, I heard like the intercoms. There's work happening up the street from me, so there's a bunch of dump trucks parked there, and I think that's them talking to each other, but it's super loud. Anyway, so anyway, I'm gonna move on, but that's where that is. I want to pause. I want to stop this, but then there's also the part, because it's like, why? Because I said something about this. This needs to be talked about, right? This needs to be talked about. This needs to be talked about. I understand there's so many things going on as well, but this is the part where, again, ICE in the United States. I'm Canadian, okay, but like it's so close to the borders, and it's very difficult as well living so close to the borders, knowing that that the United States isn't turning people in. There is torture happening, okay, and they're being put in fucking cages, sorry my language, because of the color of people's skin or the language that they could speak. And then now this not only going after, right, Latino, but now it's Somali, and then it's anybody who's going to stand in their way, because the woman that was shot, you know, she wasn't a dangerous criminal. She was trying to, you know, like, there's this whole thing too, that not only was she that, but she was a white woman. And I think it's absolutely fucking abhorrent, the situation, that the overt racism, you know, and anybody, fuck the comment pages too. The comment pages right now, basically like, well, you shouldn't have interfered with his job. And, you know, I watched the mayor of Minnesota or wherever say, like, get the fuck out of here, right? And somebody being like, oh, you know, do you think that you were escalating things? And he apologized, saying, I'm sorry if I hurt their Disney princess ears, but, you know, these people should have been trained in de-escalating. Someone drives through your checkpoint, they don't have a fucking weapon, and they're not, what I thought of at this point too is like, you know, they're not, okay, so where I'm thinking of is I'm being taken to like Iraq, and when I went to university, there was a group of people, I think it was Afghanistan as well, in Iraq, that they were the war resistors. They were people that were basically coming to Canada, like happened during draft dodgers in Vietnam, looking for refuge because they had refused to shoot at cars with women and children in them, that they were going through checkpoints. And the thing is, all the signs were in English. They were informed if these people went through the checkpoints or to shoot them no matter what, because they could have a car bomb. They could be suicide bombers. And then, because they couldn't do it, being like, I refuse to do that order, being court-martialed, right? And if they go back to the United States, they were featuring court-martial and some of them jail time, or to be taken back and to finish out the duty that they absolutely at their core could not do. Okay? This is not this woman in this video. It's unfortunate that it's in two forms. One, it's not AI, it's not fake. There were so many people there, right? So there's no way to say that this wasn't a real thing. There's so many angles that show that this person wasn't going to attack the ICE agent. And not only that, but instead of, like the mayor saying, why are these people escalating to this point? There is no knowing on the mental state as well, because I was watching American television one day, and an ICE recruitment thing came up that they offer you $50,000 signing bonus, pay off your student loan, and there was one more thing on there that was so wow. Right there, law enforcement, if of a police officer, right, an actual police officer who was trained, did that, there would be such a thing, right? And here you have these immigration people who are not police, but this is like the fucking Gestapo. And you have everybody saying and lying in front of everyone's faces. And I'm just saying, I know you guys are smart, and I know that that is not the truth. There's this point where I don't know you. For some of you, we could be very, very different political ends of the spectrum. I will always be forthcoming. I'm pretty against right-wing Christian religion politics, because I see them as what's happening right now, though, from Charlie Kirk on, is giving this Christian right-wing fundamentalism stuff, like, really skewed. If you watch 19 Kids and Counting, and there's another one where they're trying to get the kids into power, right? They want them to go into positions of power so that they can infiltrate and spread this nationalist agenda. It is the 19 Kids and Counting. I'm sorry I'm everywhere, but the 19 Kids and Counting was something that, they were the poster children of this fucking religion, and other people have talked about it, right? I mean, there's also so much about that as well, because if anybody watched that show, Josh Duggar had been responsible for molesting his sisters. They had to publicly come out and talk about it on TV, and he still was caught with child pornography and doing other things like this, and they protected him. This view that even the control of women's bodies, the desire to control women's votes, and it's not just that. Okay, my battery is going to die, and I'm sorry that this was such a long rant. I don't know if any of you want to comment, if any, but not hateful, please. I think I just needed to get it out, because this is such a fucking crazy world we live in. So I have some cards I'm going to come out with here, because I'm just, with the state of everything going on in this world, worth waiting for. Your patience will be rewarded. And share. When you share, everyone feels happy. And you'll know in the morning, when you wake up, you'll have a better idea about what to do. Relax until then. I think it's because if there is any of you watching here that, again, like I said, very different politics. We have one, the inner sense, is what was left in here, where'd it go? So, today I silence the noise of my mind. I stop listening to my ego and influence of others. I become aware of what comes from my heart. I listen to my inner voice. I stop doubting myself, and I develop confidence in my inner sense. My inner truth is the divine truth. So where I'm going with this is that even watching old debates between George Bush Sr. and Reagan on what they thought should happen to illegals, migrants, immigrants from Mexico at the time. And both of them said they should get George Bush Sr. said he thinks that if you're here and you're going to school with the kid next door, you should have exactly what they have. And also that, I mean, even Reagan and Bush believed that they should be able to work back and forth, that you could come, you could work in the United States, pay taxes, go back into, Mexico, make it there, because they had such a problem too with unemployment, that it was like a helping out kind of thing. And also about different kinds of labors and different kinds of things. But the thing is with that they're both conservative. They were both Republican. And it wasn't about building, and even Reagan said building a wall isn't going to help it. It would just create more violence. It would just create more like hatred and basically put down American trade capacity as well, because people didn't like them. So I feel like at this point, there's also what I'm hearing is like the jumping of ships, okay? That it's not necessarily to say that you move over to different policies or to different, that just because you normally vote party lines, this is where I'm going, okay? Because you always have, and this is the politics you represent, you have to remember that right now, that's not the politics that we're represented. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there who, here's where I'm going to hit this up with too, but those people who are not pro-choice, right, don't believe that people should have access, women should have access to abortions. Saying, no, yeah, ban abortions. But it's such a short-sightedness when it looks into the total bans where women are being put at danger because physicians are going to face jail time if they perform the abortion or give you an abortion pill. In cases where women have miscarried, they're going to jail or being charged with murdering, even though it was a miscarriage. People with ectopic pregnancies or babies that have died in them, they're not being allowed to be given the stuff that would abort this baby. But you're like getting to the point where they're almost septis before something can be done, almost killing them because something couldn't be done. And here's where it's like there's a totality, and what I heard is a totality of reign. That it's not just this, it goes to the extreme, right? It's not just to remember, right? That for those people, and I'm thinking for sure those people that voted, red, and voted in the States, you voted not red, but Donald Trump's like that MAGA shit. Like, there were values there, right? But lies. We've seen that. Lies, right? Complete lies. So here's where it is, I feel like it's like, I've been just to still align with the values that are tearing apart American democracy and like threatening the world, really, as well as enforcing racist policies, sexist policies, and allowing and also we know the Secretary of War kind of thing, right? Where there was 2 strikes. That's the fucking war crime. And now you've got ICE agents, Gestapo fuckers here, shooting people in the face without people watching, videotaping, not allowing people who, like a doctor, to get through. If this is still your politics, I ask you to really question some things to you. And there's where I was going to about the guy that they were talking, he voted MAGA, right? But didn't realize like his wife was Mexican. She certainly got taken away. That was pretty short-sightedness too. See this, oh, I don't like this, but it's only if it doesn't affect your world. And I think that this is about hatred too. This goes on about hatred and it's spewing out because it's finally the calm is coming in me now. But I think again it goes to so much short-sightedness of when we want to, if there's this collective idea of wanting to hurt someone. Or again, I looking at trying to other someone or alienate somebody or create a situation where some people are less than, to dehumanize, because that's how atrocities happen, to see them as less than. the amount of people in concentration camps right now in the United States, let alone the rest of the world, because work camps, they're still happening, right? I don't know if Russia has them, but North Korea definitely still does. There are places in the world where this shit's happening all the time, right? And those people are fleeing, trying to tell their story. And we are a world watching this, watching it happen, and being told, no, that didn't happen. So I ask you, if you're still in that line where, you still think that Mr. Trump is doing some good things with this world, to really question your heart. Why? What is it that he's doing? Is it because those things align with hate? And you have some personal vendetta against brown people or against people that aren't you? Because here's the deal too. This isn't just about color. It's about power and about fear and instilling fear. Because if it wasn't, you wouldn't have had a white lady shot in her vehicle. Nobody's safe on that. And I think it's really important to stand up for what you believe in, to stand up for causes, and the amount of people standing up right now, that's what needs to happen. The same thing as in Vietnam, right? When that's where these major rallies started. This, people say hippie, it's because shit was so fucking crazy and things were happening so fucking bad that people could not take it anymore. They could not stand in the complicity and could not be quiet. The best music came out of that period and that Vietnam protest stuff. Now's our fucking Vietnam. Now's the time. It's even worse because it's not the Vietnam, but now's the time to stand up in solidarity. I feel like it's troublesome as a Canadian because a lot of the policies that have happened in the United States, I think, are very, very hateful and very, very close to Hitler's regime. Taking away the rights of trans people, take homosexuality, like they're gonna go for gay marriage, right? Roe v. Wade being gone, that just, everybody was like, oh, I'm anti-abortion, so yeah, get rid of Roe v. Wade. But that includes so much more, as well as not only gay marriage, but your right to the birth control pill, because Roe v. Wade took sex out of things, right? So you have so much that, because people say, oh, that's okay, it will repeal and it's given this huge ability and onslaught of hate. So anyway, I'm going to, I had a bunch of cards and I don't think I have time to pull any, and I was going to read a whole bunch, but then this came out and like I said, I wanted to delete it and I can't. So, If I don't align with you, feel free to remove me. It's not a big deal, but you have the walrus and the carpenter, and this is from, I got this deck for Christmas. It's beautiful, and it's the Alice in Wonderland Oracle, and the Cheshire Cat, and this is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to read to you from the book as a parting message of this. See what they say. This is the number 32, which is also a 5, and also about change. Okay, so I'm going to hold it up. Oops, sorry about the glare. In this story, okay, when Alice met Tweedledee and Tweedledum, they recited a poem within which appeared a walrus and a caterpillar. One sunny night, these two characters were walking along a beach when they happened to come upon a bed of oysters, which they invited to join them. Deceived by their smiling faces, many accepted, to the eldest oyster's disapproval. Alas, the old one was right in the end, because the two scoundrels ate the poor oysters. Meaning, sure, everything seems fun and harmless, but don't be lured by sweet manners and a gentle countenance. Remember the eldest oyster's warning: appearances can be deceiving. What people pretend to be and what they truly are sometimes two very different things. Learn to see beyond the facade. Only give your trust to those who can prove that they deserve it. Key question here. What are the temptations you find hard to resist? Are they all good for you? It's pretty interesting, right? Especially with all the read that just came. And actually hilarious that Tweedledee and Tweedledum are here. So I want to read to that, which is the number 31 and 32 in that. So interesting because this is the night they met the Tweedles. All right. Well, my phone's going to die, so I love you all, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.